What the? This is what I'm talking about. So I thought it'd be a good idea to go over some holster options for, you know, your magazines and your pistol. First, I want to go over some of the ones the couple of ones that were just absolute garbage, really. And then maybe concealed carry type holsters, and then something you'd probably use on the range or otherwise. More of an open, not a concealed carry type, maybe open carry if you're into that thing. I'm not. One of the first types is this real soft type that I mean, it's not super soft, but it's like it's a padded foam and canvas type material, but it's made to fit and contour your front pocket or something like that. And this is for not one particular gun. It's made for something small like your single stacks, you know, your Glock 43 Smith & Wesson Shield, something along those lines, 365, the Hellcat, those things. It's a super cheap option, but in my opinion, it's not a good option because, you know, one of the main things that I want in a holster is for it to be safe while I'm stowing it away, right? And if this can bend and get in the trigger, well, that's not something I want because I don't carry guns that have manual safeties, drop safeties and things like that. That's a little different. But if something can get into the trigger well, that's not something I want. So this, in my opinion, is absolute garbage, and it doesn't serve the purpose that I want, and that would be, you know, for concealment. Moving on, you got something like this half leather, half Kydex deal with this like setup with these metal clips for deep concealment. And I think the idea behind the half leather and the Kydex is that it is more comfortable, and this is for something like the SIG 320, but there's very little, if any, retention on that. It does cover the trigger most of the way, and you can see how this would be comfortable, but that is huge. That is large for a holster. That, I mean, that is quite large when you compare it to something else I got here. So, okay, what you're gonna say is, well, if it's contouring on the body, it's gonna hold it tighter, and it is, but not good enough for me because what has happened also, I've worn this one for not very long at all. These clips, they're horrible. They don't hold on to anything. So what would happen is, since the holster's so big itself, the back would start rising up out of your, it would come off your belt. So it's expensive, as any other concealment type holster, a good one, in my opinion, but it doesn't do the job that I'm wanting it to do, right? So that's a garbage one in my opinion. Then you've got something real small like this, the hard plastic Kydex holsters. And this is one I carried for a very long time, just like this, because it worked really well. The loops only open one way, okay? So when you're drawn, you can imagine you're putting tension on it or whatever, it's not gonna open. You have to push down on it like that and it'll pop right open, which I really like. I've never had these come undone on me. So when you practice and you're drawn, it'll stay in your jeans and the gun will come out, because, you know, it has happened when I've tried other holsters that just use like a clip method. You end up drawing out the whole holster and present the whole holster, and that's not going to work for concealment, right? It's a real small size for what it is. It covers the trigger, which in my opinion is an absolute must. But this one here, you got some options. So this one here is going to cover the magazine release. Some people like that, some people don't. I think anything currently is going to have that uncovered. So like if you get something now, like kind of the way the trend is going is to have the magazine release uncovered. This is like a 6-year-old holster, but still very good. The retention's good on it. It's adjustable. They say the retention on those half leather, half Kydex holsters are adjustable, but then you got to start basically molding the Kydex yourself to heat it up and then press it in, and that's just not something I want to do, especially when you pay so much for a holster. Tighten a screw, it's good to go. You get the level of retention you want. You can still hear it real good click. So that's what I like. Then of course you got the stuff that comes with the gun. I don't know where this would fall in. As far as use, I wouldn't recommend it. But this is comparable to something like this. This is, you know, this is not an inside the waistband. This is also not inside the waistband, but it is Kydex, and you're gonna have that same type of good retention as you would with, well, you know, your other Kydex. You see that? Real good retention on there. And this is for maybe more of like range use or something like that, or if you're out where concealment is not an issue. Okay, so real good holster there with the all Kydex but outside the waistband, compared to the garbage you get with the gun when you buy it, at least from SIG anyway. So now you got something like this, super small in my opinion as far as a holster goes. It covers all the bases in my opinion, but this is what I was talking about, that magazine release. It's uncovered here, but it covers the trigger, real good. Adjustable tension, real good. What I don't like about this one is that it doesn't have the loops. But this is one of those types that you can go appendix or on the side 3 o'clock, however you like. Also, I've noticed that as people start making Kydex and stuff, and as years go on, they've learned that keeping the front open is a good idea, because it lets like lint and things like that, just it doesn't build up or anything in there, which I've seen in the other one that is closed. So that's another option there. Then you move into something a little more along the you move into something a little more along the range type stuff, you know, that you're going to have on your belt. And this is the T-Rex Ragnarok holster with the Safariland quick disconnect setup there, which, you know, it works real well with something like a pistol belt, because what you can do is, should be pretty easy, pop it off, different gun holster, boom, you want to swap it out, there you go, set up, ready to go. And this one's set up for the X300 from Surefire. I don't even have it on right now on the gun, but it still has good retention. I think it does say don't use it without it if you bought one with it, but man, that's really good retention for not even using it the way it's supposed to be. So, and if that's still not enough for you, you can adjust it, and that's really cool. I like that. I like it quite a bit. This is my third one of these, because, you know, 3 different guns or whatever, if I want to switch out. And it's also cool if you want to switch out with somebody you're out there with, right? So, you know, you can run it however you like. And these are also cut for RMRs, ready to go. All of them are. So it's nothing extra to have it. Just the way they line it up, covers the mag well. The magazine release is open. So this is your basic, this is what you can compare to the Safariland, except for it's a third of the price. So it allows me to have 3 holsters for the price of one, and I'm getting the same stuff done on the range as I would with like a Safariland. Since I don't carry for work, this is just for range stuff, I don't need that Safariland or all those levels of retention that they might offer with their holsters. So one other difference you might notice with the range type, duty type versus concealment, the Kydex is a lot thinner on this than it is on this. I think this is like 5 mils, and this would be 3. I'm not sure. And then you've got magazine pouch stuff. So this is the S-Tac. It's a little Kydex insert in the canvas. It works amazing for what I use it for, right? Now, there are some other options out there that you can weave into your belt like this and that. It's like a double. You can put the magazine of a pistol on the outside, the rifle magazine on the inside. But what I've noticed with these is it kind of hangs down like that. So that I went away from this type and I went with the single pouch for the pistol magazines. But if that's what you got, it does work well. Then you've got something else, which goes along the lines of, what was it, that the outside the waistband holster, like if you're gonna just put it on your regular belt, okay? Regular belt setup, and you just wanna weave this onto your pants, and you got this other one that you can put on the other side, you're set. You got, I mean, you're pretty much a duty belt, right? It's how much stuff you want to put on your regular belt. And now going with, you know, your EDC type carry, your inside the waistband holster setup kind of carry, you're going to want to consider belts as well. So here's like a pretty common, just a leather belt, but this is not going to give you any support for attaching a holster to it. And that's what you're doing. Even if it's, you know, EDC concealed carry type stuff, you want to have a good place to attach your holster, which holds your weapon, to your body, right? And just a regular old worn out leather belt, which is very comfortable and works real well, is not going to do the trick, in my opinion. Then you could go with something like this. This is the inner belt of my little range setup belt. And this works fine, but it still doesn't have that rigidness on the inside, okay? Now there's some belts that have the plastic sandwich between 2 layers of the nylon there, and that's good too, I guess. You know, I think that's the 511 belts, they do that. I had that one for a little while. But then you have something like this also. This is something what I look for in a belt, and this is what I've been using for a long time. It's the Alonzo Defense EDC belt, I think it's called. But what this is made out of is some type of dyed material. I don't know. It works really well, and it holds up really good, and so it makes a really good attachment point for your concealed carry holster. But what the main thing you want to do is, whatever you're doing, get out there and practice with what you got and see how it works for you. And if you have the opportunity, go out with some people and try what they have and try to learn from them and see what, you know, you can pick up with what works for other people and what doesn't work for other people and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because there's no end all be all. You just got to figure out what's going to work best.